A lot of us are finding love online, but the dating apps have gone a little crazy. And then it's one topic we consciously avoid on the show. We're talking weirdos and white folk tonight on Dear Black Gay Men podcast. And the show starts right now. What up, though? I am Jay the Gentleman. That's at JAI the Gentleman on IG. It is Wednesday, so it's time for a new episode of Dear Black Gay Men podcast. It's still our short, bullshit-free step on out of our comfort zone to talk about all the emotional ups and downs along the journey to happiness. Hopefully, this is your midweek reminder of how dope it is to be black gay men who love black gay men. If you're watching the replay and you want to skip to the main story, timestamps and chapters are in the description. It's a big one. It is a big one tonight. I'm so excited to be back. We're back and we're on time. Thank God. I honestly believe that when we say the dating pool is trash, what we actually mean is the app dating pool is trash. The true tea is a lot of us don't know how or if we can find a man if it isn't on the apps. So when we all have to pick from the same faceless profiles and butch queen stunting on Instagram, it's easy to think that the whole dating pool is just trash. One creator has summed up his dating app experience in a reel that we're reacting to tonight. So my question in the chat is, what exactly are the dating apps good for? That's what I want to know. Are we team dating apps? Are we team no dating apps? What are the dating apps actually good for in our culture? Let me know in the chat. Oh, whew. Hold on. My comments ain't doing right. Let me go back. I see Panthro was first tonight. J926 was second. And then Deep Ruin said I need to unwind a little bit. And then hey friend, hey. And Painted, I don't know if that's for me. And Winterman, it says, okay, and we on time. I told y'all I be trying. I really do be working to make sure that the show is on time. But I clicked the wrong thing and I had the chat wouldn't happen. I was like, am I canceled? I feel like I've been canceled. But so the question is, what are the dating apps good for nowadays? What do y'all feel like the dating apps are actually good for? Are the people finding love online? Are the people having success? Because I will tell you that my experience on these damn dating apps and maybe it might be a geographical thing. Maybe it might be like the type of man that I'm looking for. But when it comes to the dating apps, I have not had success. And I don't know too many people that have. No, let me not say that. Because I have seen several people who found love on the dating apps. But in my experience, the dating apps are good for one thing and one thing only. And, maybe I'm the drama. I will be that. But maybe I'm the drama. Remember, if you've got a question and you want to join me live on the show, you can go to livestream.dearblackgaymen.com to join me. Let's see what this creator has. It's one creator who has summed up his app experience in one reel. It is short, and we are going to react to it. Check this out.
Goddamn. Can you get it on my face, nigga?
Ass pic.
You gotta.
Here we go. So, y'all tell me this. Riddle me this. His first one was ass pic of some faceless torso. If, for instance, all we here to do is hook up on the apps, is hitting you with ass pic, dick pic, first message, is that a turnoff? Is that a red flag? Do you even have red flags when you're entangling? Carlos Murray done clocked my tea already. I am wearing a full beat today. So here we are. But I am wearing TV makeup. This is my face for TV. I do not wear this normally, but I'm absolutely here. Oh, wait, hold on. Shaka111 YT says, yay, I found my first boyfriend on BGC and my last ex on Jack, and we lasted 2.5 years. Fun fact, that is my experience also. The first boyfriend on BGC. back when BGC was brown. I told y'all the story. My first no, let me back up. So my first boyfriend, I called him Smiller, but I found him on gay.com. that's how far back it was. And now get this, gay.com, I was a high school student. I just graduated high school. I had come back from my first semester in college. So I'm 19 years old. I live way north in the suburbs in Dallas, Texas. He lives way south in the suburbs in Dallas, Texas. Dallas is an hour away from Dallas. So we might as well have been in a long distance relationship. But somehow or another we made it work. We met in the chat rooms on gay.com. He had a little this is back when, getting a picture online was tumultuous. Like you had to have a digital camera, you had to have cords and a memory cable and a thing to read the memory cards. Like getting a picture from a camera onto a computer was a task back then. I think my first picture online, I had to use a scanner. But we met up and he was so cute. He was like 26 and he worked at a law firm. I was 19, freshman in college, and he showed me things that I never thought I would see. That first time I had sex in the back of seat of a car, him. It was so good. Like we was living life on the wild side. I'll tell you a funny story. Like because I went to college in San Antonio, and I said yesterday, San Antonio to Dallas is about 4 hours, right? And he didn't. He lived with his family, and I lived in a dorm room. And so, like meeting up at my spot, having him come to San Antonio wasn't really an option. Me going to his spot in Dallas wasn't really an option. And then if I went to my home in Dallas, that's damn near an hour away still. So we were better off just meeting in the middle. We used to meet up in Waco, Texas. And we would meet up on holidays like Labor Day, Memorial Day, when we had Monday off. And I would come on Sunday, and we would meet up and we would watch The Practice and Desperate Housewives. That was our thing before you could FaceTime. This is before FaceTime even existed, before iPhones even existed. But we would meet up and watch Desperate Housewives and The Practice on Sunday night on ABC. And then we would have breakfast at this is Texas, so there was no Waffle House back then. It was like IHOP or wherever, right? And we would go, and that would be our little love story. One weekend we met up, and he wanted to get a piece of me, but I wanted to finish watching The Practice, and so he was on top of me. He's on top of me this way, trying to be all sexy and whatnot, but during the commercial break, and it comes back from TV, and I'm like locked into The Practice. I push him off of me on this side, dislocated his shoulder. So now we driving around Waco, Texas, not knowing where a hospital is. I don't know what his health insurance look like. I barely even know this man's last name. But now we driving around Waco, Texas, trying to find a hospital to pop his shoulder back in. Baby, when I tell you the stories I could tell y'all. The stories I could tell y'all back then. Panther says, OMG, Day, the memories. Morris Singletary said that upload of a picture was a beast. When I tell you it was so difficult to have a picture, the girls now have an expectation of a picture because everybody got a camera in their pocket. But back in the day, to even see yourself on the internet was a thing. I think one time I had to borrow a picture from like a newspaper article that I was in. It was a gay newspaper, but like my profile picture was some article that was like a right click save to desktop from some article I was in. Back then, didn't want me, and it ain't a now hot on me. It's just back then they didn't want me because there was no way to see who I was, and I was young as fuck. J926 says it honestly depends on how you use them. I know a lot of people who are in happy and healthy relationships after meeting on the apps. I agree. I do know some people, like we've had people on the show that have met on the apps, gotten married, and are living their best life even to this day. My question for us is, as the single girls that are still on the apps potentially, do we think that we have good intentions while we on these apps? Because I do think a lot of times we say stuff like the dating pool is trash because what we see on the apps is a split. There are some people on there that are one of three columns in my experience. Some people use the apps because they really want to find love and they're not settling for anything else. That's one group of people. Then there's the people over here that's only looking to fuck, and they will not entertain anything substantial or substantive. That's another group of people. And then there's this wide range of people in the middle that are trying to fuck but are okay dating, or are trying to date but are okay fucking. And I think that's the vast majority of people in the middle when we say the dating pool is trash. It's a whole bunch of people that are that have either too many intentions or unclear intentions. And that's when I think we surmise that the dating pool is trash. Maybe I'm the drama. Y'all let me know in the chat box. More Singletary said the late 1900s. I rebuke that in the name of the Most High, because I am legitimately talking about the late 1900s. Is that crazy? That's crazy. Panther said that upload took me forever on dial-up. The irony about them days is we would be downloading album artwork. It would take forever back then. Back then, it would take forever. I remember using LimeWire and Napster and all of that, and we would be downloading a 13-track CD, burning it from somebody, 13-track CD, and it could take like 5 hours. 5 hours. Imagine downloading a CD and it take 5 hours. Now, if I download this show is 3.5 gigabytes at the end of the day. If it take me 10 minutes, I'm like, I'll do it tomorrow. Being Mr. Witty said, if you deep down don't believe a person you need online is serious, nothing will fix it for you. All my longest relationships came from the apps and online. People front in real life. You don't think people front online? You don't think people front online? A King, like royalty said, guess I'm in that trash middle because shrugging shoulders. I will say, I don't think the dating pool is trash. I do not subscribe to the dating pool being trash. I just think people feel like it's trash when I'm on the apps for one thing, talking to people who are on the apps for something else. Like, the dating pool really does get trash when I'm on looking for my man and I'm only stumbling across people who are either unintentional about dating or are actually just trying to fuck. And to that end, I think what being Mr. Witty just said, people do front in real life, but people front on the apps. And I think it's just people be on the apps with intentions that do not align with what you're looking for. So then all of a sudden we generalize it to the dating pool and say it's trash. More Singletary said 5 hours and we waited. Yes, we did. And we had them big ass CD books in our car of not one CD that we have bought. Of all the latest, all them white discs that was written on. I remember the first time I downloaded something and I burned it to a CD so I have in my car, but I didn't have a permanent marker, so I ended up having like a full book of CDs that had no label. Dumb shit. And I thought I was just hot. I thought it was hot shit. Freshman year of college with a whole book of CDs, not one label on one CD. I didn't know if it was Hezekiah Walker or Drew Hill. I didn't know if it was Lil Kim or if it was John P. Key. Just dumb shit. The dumb shit that I would do thinking I was hot shit. Let's keep going with what the man saying.
Name like you host.
Hey, yo, what's up?
What's up? You got another picture or something?
Nah, this my only picture.
Sure.
Can't stand that. People really be thinking we dumb as hell. Yo, you telling me you got this picture of you that's pixelated from 22 years ago, and that's your only picture? Like, you walking around with a flip phone? Even flip phones nowadays got cameras on them. You can't take. what do you think the people are trying to? What do you think people are getting at when they say shit like, "Nah, this my only picture"? No, niggas, no, it's not. No, it's not. You on Facebook, you on Instagram, you somewhere. Because there, you cannot convince me that somebody has downloaded a dating app, somebody has downloaded Grindr or Jacked, but they ain't got Instagram or Facebook. You cannot convince me that somebody would be on the dating apps without a single other social media platform. And then you cannot convince me that you be on any other social media platform and all you got is this one picture of you from 30 years ago. That these things don't add up. They just don't. They don't add up. I was about to crash out again, but I'm glad I didn't. I caught myself. Winter Minute says that young man in the video is from Detroit. He's really a kind person. I think he's saying he's a really kind person. He gives me that. He is from Detroit. One of the things that one of the reasons why I follow him is because I was born in Flint, Michigan. So, I mean, Michigan. I don't remember shit about living in Michigan, but I was born in Flint. More Singleton said Lil Kim or John P. Key is diabolical. What crazy about the other thing is back in them days, you could burn a whole CD and have all the songs on your computer and just pick and choose. Like you could turn a CD into a whole playlist. That's where playlists started. But I remember I burned a CD from somebody and his playlist was like, Jill Scott, Lizelle and E flat, then Get on My Level, then Ella Fitzgerald, then Ladies Night, Lil Kim and Angie Martinez. It was just a mashup of the most random songs, and for some reason I used to love that. Or I remember like I would download Anita Baker. I remember downloading like Anita Baker Angel. No, it was Anita Baker I Apologize. But me and all of my friends had this one version of Anita Baker I Apologize, and it had this skip in the bridge. And for some reason, like every time I would run into somebody and they played that same song, we all downloaded that same trash ass version of it. So now all of us got it with the same skip in it. It was very interesting. These were interesting times. These were interesting times. Where you would legitimately call somebody and be like, hey, let me borrow that Drew Hill CD. Hey, let me borrow that such and such CD. And they would give you a blank disc that just said Drew Hill written on it. In the most illegible handwriting. All right, let's keep going. Let's see what else. Let's see what else this Detroit nigga got on his thing.
What's up? Bruh.
Hey.
Pause. Okay. Before you get to that one, because I see it says get mad when you don't reply. So real quick, do y'all have anybody in your DMs that just sends you random messages? Like I would logged into in researching this topic, I logged into Jacked. I would log into Jacked right now. I logged into Jacked and I got a message from a dude, and it's just a wall of sups and hays and what you doings. Not once have I responded because he does not have a profile picture, but it is just a wall of sups. Y'all ever been in that situation? And what do you think? But my question is like, what do they expect us to do with that? After so many sups, like what is the purpose of it? Like I don't get. What do you want me to say? Like, am I supposed to just interject in that after months and months and months of sups and so what's ups and how you doings and HRU and WID and a whole bunch of 3-letter somethings? Am I just supposed to like jump in and be like, oh my bad, what's up, nigga? I ain't seen it. I seen this shit and have not responded. Why are you still in my inbox? But what I will say is situations like that remind me that the girls just want to be loved. The girls just want to be loved. They want to be appreciated. They want to be somebody. And they will send message after message after message in hopes of being somebody. And that is one thing that's one of the reasons why I started a podcast, but that helped me realize that the girls just want to be loved. They just want to be somebody. Let's keep going.
Oh, what's up? Hey, bitch, don't nobody want to lick with your little ugly ass anyway. You look dusty, you look broke. Just block me. Just block.
Just block me is diabolical. That is grade A level toxicity. The just block me. First off, I don't block nobody. And as a matter of fact, I keep red receipts on because I want you to see I ignored your ass. I want you to see I ignored your ass. And I want you to get a timestamp of when I ignored your ass. The just block me is never going to be my story because I want you to have receipts that you were in my DMs and I did not respond. Because when you go low, I'm going high. As in right over your head. Panther says, I pulled a J and leaving people on red on purpose and don't respond. I was about to try to justify it, but that is a perfect summation of it. I leave people on red and I do not respond for a reason. Wait, the best one, deleting soon. I do that for, half naked pictures on Instagram all the time. Might delete soon. I'm never going to delete it. I don't even remember what that picture looked like. I am not thinking about that picture no more than you are. You double tapped it and moved on and kept scrolling just like I'm about to. I might delete soon. I'm deleting the app soon. Or the other one is I lost all my chats. Y'all ever heard that on the apps? I lost all my chats. Nigga, you started dating somebody, you deleted your profile, you deleted your account, now you back on it because it didn't work. We know the story. Like, I don't know that anybody is fooling anybody, but the girls want to grandstand on these apps. And maybe that's what Joseph Whittingham was talking about earlier about how the girls be playing. No, you said they be playing in real life, and I'll be saying they be playing on these apps. But again, moving on. All right, keep going. That was it. Okay. All right. We are about to take a break, but my question for the chat is dating apps, yay or nay? What are they exactly good for? Let me know in the chat. What do you think the dating apps what can we rely on the dating apps to be for? Is it just bullshit? Like we can rely on it to be all bullshit all the time? Can we rely on the dating apps for sex? Can we rely on them for love? What can we put stock in? Let me know. If you've got an opinion on the topic, remember, you can go to Dear Black Gay Men. You can go to livestream.dearblackgaymen.com to join me live on the show. The link is pinned in the description, or it will be shortly. After the break, I'll be breaking down what I found we'll be reacting to another creator, and they'll be talking about the white gaze. We will be back in just a moment. What up, though? I am Jay the Gentleman, and I host all the craziness that happens right here in the back room. As far as I know, we are the only queer-led podcast that has its own studio in Atlanta, and we party in the back room. We have a Kiki in the back room.
Get that gooch licked on or something. Like, figure it out. Like,
we have a cocktail in the back room.
Oh, that's really good.
That's what she said. And we grow in the back room. Every time y'all are here, every time you're here, you say something that I'm just like, that really happens? If you're in the Atlanta area, you want to join us in the back room, visit dearblackgaymen.com/tickets to see what live shows and events we have coming up right here in the back room.
Am I going crazy? Did you ever plan on becoming my baby? Was it all I gave or am I going crazy? For the time you wasted, I should make you pay me. Regret the day you played me. Am I going crazy?
Welcome back to Dear Black Gay Men Podcast. It is time for church announcements. Hit it. Every week, I write about the ups and downs along my dating journey. It's a deep dive into my emotional and sexual trials while I keep my man in 2025. You can join for free by clicking the screen now, or the link is in the description. This is talking about how I'm supporting my boyfriend's journey toward becoming a non-monogamous slut. I am not the monogamy girl. I am definitely an open relationship girly, and I am dating someone who that is very new to them. And so we are understanding and unpacking all that means for us as a couple. As both of us develop a better understanding of what we are committing to, I'm probably going to be writing about it. He will see it a lot sooner than y'all will. But that is what's happening. Remember, we got a special episode of Dear Black Gay Men podcast coming up a week from today. We are having the Raw Sex Talk on Dear Black Gay Men podcast on the 19th. It'll be special. We'll have a studio full of people. It'll be great. I'm very, very excited about it. And then we always have our World Days Day show that's going to be coming up at the top of the month. So be sure on the lookout for that. The best way to support what we do here on Dear Black Gay Men is to become a YouTube member. Members get access to exclusive conversations, the members only chat, behind the scenes content, and you can join me to chop it up right here on the show. A portion of your memberships will be donated to an Atlanta area nonprofit or a nonprofit across the globe that is doing the work in Black queer culture. Just hit the join button below this episode or send a super chat of any amount. For all the latest updates, follow me everywhere on socials at JAI the Gentleman on Instagram and Threads. That concludes our church announcements. Please govern thyself accordingly, and we will be right back. Will we? Will we be right back? Yeah, we'll be right back. What is stigma? I truly believe that it comes up when you think something can't happen to you. Like when we think we could never be femme, so we end up with femmephobia laced all up and through our dating profiles. Or when we don't be out there like that, so we slut shame people for doing openly what we try to sneak and do privately. But there aren't too many spaces where stigma rises to a criminal level like it does with HIV.
Knowingly gave her HIV and never told her he was infected.
We're talking to 4 Black men from across the country, all living with HIV. I want to see how stigma comes up in their lives and what we can all do to overcome it. Welcome back to Dear Black Gay Men podcast. I am Jay the Gentleman. Surface Level Podcast is one of the shows I watch the most. It's hosted by Jordan, Tony, and Damon. Damon, and they talk about topics that hit Black queer culture directly, but this one has me scratching my head a bit. It's called The Blue-Eyed Soul: Can White Gay Men Truly Belong in Black Queer Spaces? Now, I don't particularly care about the sensibilities or the gaze of whites, but I am curious to hear the perspective of 3 Black gay men that I respect. Before we start, let me know in the chat, or do y'all does making Black space palatable to white people matter to y'all? I'm all for diversity, equity, and inclusion, but I don't tremendously care about like when I'm crafting Dear Black Gay Men, I'm never thinking about, well, how are white people going to take this? Was like, help me understand. Do we care about about white sensibilities, white fragility in some cases? Like, is that a concern of y'all's in Black spaces? There are a couple comments that are coming in. Y'all let me know in the comments. Being Mr. Witty, about the last topic about the apps, he said, maybe it's because I've had more instances of meeting guys in bars, clubs, life, etc., exchanging details to meet and it never happening. Online, at least, if we make a date, it happens, good or bad. Okay, fair. Now, I have the exact opposite experience. When I meet someone in person, I have a lot more likelihood of it becoming something more substantive. And I think I play a large role in that. Like because it's online, I think online is a lot more frivolous. I don't know that I approach it with the same kind of gravitas, the same kind of intention as if I bumped into you, the same dude at the grocery store or at the club or at a bar or at a party or something, or here on the show. So I can definitely be the drama in that. Germiology says, I just started using Facebook dating and it's hella overwhelming. After all the swiping and matching, I don't know where to begin in choosing who to converse, interact with. Seems just like any other app. Now, I will say Facebook dating for me, because Facebook ain't giving me no money, so I'll just be honest. Facebook dating to me is probably the slowest moving app, because there are so many other uses for Facebook. People go on Facebook for the marketplace. People go on Facebook for politics. People go on Facebook for their high school friends. People go on Facebook for groups that they're in. So adding one more thing happening in the DMs never really makes it penetrate. No pun intended. So every time I log on to Facebook dating, it's, I'm sidetracked by 1,000 other things that I never really have any goal or intention in using the dating apps. Whereas if I were to log on like Tinder, for instance, I'm doing that for the purpose of connecting. Does that make sense? Like Facebook is something I can just scroll through. So I never really think for me at least, I never really think, oh, let me log on and check my dating messages. J926 says, I love their podcast. I do too. Winter Minute says, I love the Surface Level podcast. A King Like Royalty said the first pronunciation, Damon, is his name. Thank you for that. The question that I asked was, should we care about making Black space inclusive to others? Now, I will tell you, I'm quite biased because I have no interest in making this space inclusive to people who are not Black. I will make it inclusive to Black people who do not identify as exclusively gay or exclusively men. Like I want to make this space inclusive to anybody who is more masculine of center, queer, gay identified, but Black. Dear Black gay men. So if you are a Black bisexual man, a Black pansexual man, a Black transgender man, a black queer man, I want to make this space palatable for all. But if you're Clint white guy, I mean, get to the back of the bus, bro. You get to watch the show, but your perspective is not necessarily the focus of this space. And having watched the Surface Level podcast, I will say the same of them. There are 3 unapologetically Black men who create content from a very specifically Black perspective. I don't know that they're doing a whole lot of adjusting and bending to make their space palatable to whiteness and white gays. But my question is, should we intentionally create space where all of us can be invited? And I don't even know what that would look like. Because, I mean, white people try to make space for people who are not white all the time, and it never works. I do not know a Black or brown person or body that feels absolutely included in white spaces. Like Pride in October. My significant other performed on the stage, and while it was cute, it was a great presentation, I did not feel like, oh, this space was made for me. I felt very much like I am visiting your pride to go make this performance, go support my man so I can leave. Winter Menace said, absolutely not. This is our Black ass party, and we can't and we can gatekeep if we want to. Abso-fucking-lutely. Hey everybody, holla at your boy says, hey everybody. All right, y'all, let's listen to what Jordan, Tony, and Damon are saying. Oh, my bad. All right, here we go.
I guess back to the blue eyes.
Yeah, let's talk
blue
about
eyes soul
let's talk about
girls.
blue eyes.
Let's talk about blue eyes.
Karen.
So when it comes to white people at the Black function, and we've seen them, we know them.
We've seen them.
We've seen them. We've seen them. Like they be the whites folks be at the Black functions.
Yeah.
We've all seen them. And so they pop up from time to time, and sometimes it's causing confusion, sometimes it's causing controversy, and sometimes they're actually invited, by one of y'all. So the question that I'm grappling with as it pertains to our community in particular is, can white gay men truly ever belong in Black queer spaces? Now, this one is going to fire the girls up.
Yeah.
It's firing me up already.
I mean, immediately hearing that, I think that you can feel welcomed. And I think that the Black community is quite inclusive as a community. But I think belonging to me feels like you are just like an extension of the space. And so for me, I find it difficult to say yes to that. Just based off of like instances.
Let's pause right there. There we go. Okay, so hear me out. I do think there is a regional component to this. Because the three of them are in New York City. However, all three of them went to Howard University. My family several people in my family went to FAM. So, my sister, who is like my Florida A&M Rattler confidant, she's like, HU is the only other HBCU that we acknowledge. She jokingly says that, but they all went to HU, but they live in New York City. And I think the Black community in New York City looks very different than the Black gay community in Atlanta, Georgia. Looks very different than the Black community in Birmingham, Alabama, or Jackson, Mississippi, or Dallas, Texas, or New Orleans, Louisiana. Like when you get down to these southern states, Chattanooga, Durham, North Carolina, DC, like Blackness and Black gay things look very different than they do in the NYCs and the LAs of the world. And so when he says the Black community is very inclusive, I think that is a very New York state of mind. Because down here, Black means Black. Black exclusively, Black only, Black, blackity black, fluorescent beige Black, blue Black, dark skin, light skin, the whole nine. But when you get to, these very, very diverse cities like New York City, Black means a whole bunch of things. Black means Afro-Latino. Black means, Dominican and Puerto Rican and everyone across the diaspora and their allies and partners and whatnot. And I do think that impacts what we mean when we say Blackness or Black spaces are inclusive. Because I would say the Black spaces in the South ain't tremendously inclusive at all. And we are the melting pot. We are the ground zero of segregation. Am I wrong? Am I the drama? White guys in NYC are not the saltines below VA. Like, are you saying that the white dudes and white men in New York City they get invited to the cookout? Because I will tell you this, the neighborhood I live in, fun fact, story time. The neighborhood I live in is all Black people. And we do not live in the hood. I ain't gonna tell you where I live because I don't need anybody popping up. But we do not live in the hood. But my neighborhood is all Black people. And we saw a white man walking down the street the other day, and we was like, "Who the fuck is he?" We wanted to Karen out, be like, "Can I see the deed to your house and your last two pay stubs?" Like we wanted to Karen out because seeing a white person in our neighborhood is just so not normal. My mama's neighborhood, big $500,000, $1 million homes, beautiful neighborhood, perfectly crafted lawns, the matching mailboxes. They got a HOA that is on they shit, and it's all Black people. You see a white person in that neighborhood, and he is a plumber. He is a lawn care person. He don't live there. I don't know that the neighborhood is exclusionarily Black, but I know that I don't know no white folk that live over there. There is not a husband or wife. There is not a cousin. There is not a distant relative in my neighborhood that is Black. That is not white. I mean, that is not Black. Holla at your boy says, yes, it's definitely regionally based. Fair. Germiology says, I have HIV test counselor at Out of the Closet in Oakland and wanted to start a Black men's sexual health group and got pushback for it being a Black men only group. Come on down here to Atlanta. I host a podcast called Dear Black Gay Men, and the only time I get pushback is when I go to white spaces. I'll tell you a story. I was wearing a Dear Black Gay Men t-shirt and hat at the gay gym. And if anybody who's in Atlanta knows that the gay gym, every gym is just a little bit gay, but there's a very gay gym. The one on Peachtree, the one at Atlantic Station, it's like a bathhouse. You go in there, drop your pants anywhere, and you can hook up easier in that gym than you can at the actual bathhouse. Then the other one is Ansley Park, because in the same complex is the Eagle, which is a leather bar, Felix's, which is a gay bar, Mix, which is a gay bar. It's just a little part of the city that's very gay. But I'm wearing Dear Black Gay Men t-shirt, Dear Black Gay Men hat to the gym during the day. It's like 2:00 in the afternoon on a Tuesday. Dude pulls me to the side. Now, mind you, I've worn Dear Black Gay Men stuff to the black gym over here by my house on the east side every day of the week. I wear it all the time because I needed to be able to wear my shit in our spaces and feel comfortable enough to sell it to other people. But now I'm wearing it in a white space thinking, of course, it says gay on it. I might as well be wearing a rainbow. Ain't gonna be no problem. That is the only time anybody's ever been like, well, how would you feel if I had dear white gay men on a shirt? And I said, make your shirt. Make it. Do it. Ain't no tea. Wear your shirt. I dare you to. Matter of fact, I'll wear one with you. Go get yours. Where is it? Wear it. Wear it. Ain't no tea. Put it on. Where can I get one? Send me the link. I'll download it, or I'll purchase my Amazon Prime. It'll be here it'll be here at 4:00 tomorrow morning. Wear your shirt. But, that was just me. All right, let's keep going.
This is when I've been in environments where, everyone's black and then there's one white person. Even if that person was brought in by someone that people trust, there's conversations on the side like, who is that? Like, what should I know about this person? Like, essentially trying to understand, like, is this somebody who I can trust?
Whose
in
dance
this
is this?
space?
Yep. I will tell you, there's this one dude. So when I first moved to Atlanta, there was this dude. He was, he's the token white guy at every black function I went to. And every single time he would walk in, like, it would always feel as if we're kicking it. It's a normal vibe. And then he shows up. And all of a sudden I feel this pressure to be different. I feel a pressure to, it's either he's violating the space, and he didn't do anything. It was just the coincidence of him being a white dude. But I will always feel as if the vibe is different because he is present. Because whiteness is present in this black event. And I don't ever know if he picked up on it, because he was, an Atlanta white gay. And I'm sure y'all seen them on the internet where they're very Southern, very, Paula Deen, and they'll call you Suge and all this other stuff and just be white, right? But every time he would walk in, I immediately feel like, oh, this ain't a party for us no more. And I would kick myself. I would be upset at myself. The fact that I would be so affected by this white man at this damn party or this kickback or wherever it was. Because it felt as if this was my space. Like I belonged here before and now I gotta share it with your ass. And a part of me was kicking myself for allowing him to take up so much air. But another part of me was like, nigga, read the room. Perhaps I'm the drama. Let's go through some of these comments. Winterman says, I'm Detroit born and raised, so my community is black as fuck, and I love it real bad. White gays don't have culture or cultural awareness. Now, I will double tap on that. I'm going to make favorite that because I wanted to come back to they don't have culture or cultural awareness. Morris said, as it concerns white men being a part of this group, nah, we good. Got it. Germiology says they never do pick up on it because they think it's a safe space for everybody. Okay. Like the person that I'm talking about, again, he did not do anything to compromise the vibe of the space aside from being white. And I think that I give you another story. So when my first job here in Atlanta was I cleaned houses. I was a housekeeper. I worked for this cleaning company, and I would go all across the city to house cleaning shit. And I was sucked at it. I was horrible at it, and my boss hated me. I was not cut out for this line of work at all. The company, I don't know. Now I will tell you, when I started making some money doing my own thing, the first thing I did, hire them, because I wanted to be the customer that he was pissing me off about. I wanted to be the customer, and he, the boss that didn't like me, had to call me and be like, how was that? And I wanted him to know it was me. I wanted him to know it was my house that they cleaned, and I wanted him to know that I upgraded past your ass. But that was a different topic. But one weekend, the arrangement was you were either on an even team or an odd team. Even teams worked even weekends. The second weekend, the fourth weekend, so on and so forth. Odd teams worked the first and third weekend, and then you would toss a coin for the fifth, right? And so one Saturday, normally I'm working Monday through Friday, so when I get there, there's nobody there. And this is pre-pandemic. So there's nobody in this house. Usually it's, one person that is upstairs or outside or somewhere. And so you don't really see the vibe of a family. But I had to work a weekend now. I'm working weekend. This weekend is this White House. I'm accustomed on Saturdays, especially in the summer when ain't no school, I'm accustomed to the kids are outside. Somebody in the neighborhood is bumping loud music. Somebody else is on the grill somewhere. I'm accustomed to your mama waking up early saying, get up, it's time to clean, and banging Anita Baker music. I'm accustomed to you go in or you stay in or you go out. You ain't gonna be running in and out of my house. I'm accustomed to the doors being closed because we not air conditioning the whole neighborhood. Like, there are just certain sensibilities about Black culture that regardless of your geography, I think we can all just pick up on. We all know don't eat everybody food at the cookout. We all know ask who made the potato salad. We all know certain things, right? You don't need to Google that shit. I go to this white neighborhood on the north side, and nothing is happening on Saturday. There's not an uncle there's not a dad or uncle cutting grass. There's nobody on the grill. There's nobody playing in the street. There's no little kid with a basketball rolling down because everybody meet at his house because he got the basketball goal in his front yard. There's nothing. It's just houses and everybody's inside. And you know what this family was doing? They were all sitting on the sofa watching Hocus Pocus together as me and my partner, clean their house. That was the most not Black experience of my life. I have never felt so out of place anywhere than in any people's house on a Saturday. It was so weird. J926 says, I personally feel like people of privilege, majority groups should show up to spaces designated to certain communities, should not show up to spaces designated for certain community groups unless they're invited by a member of said community just out of respect. Now, unless they're invited, my standard for invited to the cookout is very different than everybody else's standard of invited to the cookout. So I don't know about I think that you need to own the space that you are inviting somebody to. Like, I ain't gonna bring me and my white friend to a cookout at somebody else's house. That's just not what I'm gonna do. And that's because I grew up in a space where I ain't never seen white people in my mama's house. Never, not once ever, unless they were like an insurance salesman or a health person or a cleaning lady. And even the cleaning lady that I grew up with was a Black lady. And while she cleaning, my mama's cooking, and she is a part of the family. I don't know about unless you invited by the in crowd. Like, I need to own this place in order to invite a white dude into the house. You ain't gonna be able to just invite random white person into my house for my event. Hell no. Let's keep going.
You know what I mean? And I find that the skepticism sometimes don't go away. And it's just like, whatever. You'll be nice, you'll welcome, but like sometimes there's a feeling of like when the shoe is going to drop or when something is going to be said that's just kind of like, oh, I knew it. Like you don't really like me or us. And so I think that in spaces that I've been, I feel like there's always been sort of like a little bit of just sort of hesitance on whether or not, you know, you can really trust them in that space, because all Black spaces are like sacred, right? Like this is where you truly feel like you can share your strong point of views. You can talk exactly how you want to talk. And sometimes you might say something about an instance that you had with a white person that wasn't positive, and you don't want to feel like you have to like censor yourself.
Yeah.
And so I feel like it could get, I don't know. I haven't gotten to the point where I felt like I've been in a group where it's been like an extension of an all Black group. I've definitely been in mixed groups where everyone's belonging, but I think when it's all Black and it's, you know, the lone white person, I find that there's always like some resistance in the group.
Okay, so let me ask y'all this question. Do you think that we need to call that out when we feel it? Like if I'm at an event, I'm using kickback because kickbacks are usually at somebody's house. But if I'm at a kickback, white person I feel is violating the vibe, should I call that out or should I suck it up? Because I think what happens is white people feel as if they belong in spaces, and whiteness, the way it is set up, whiteness feels like they own spaces because we never call it out. Like we never pull somebody to the side and be like, hey bro, sit this one out. Head home. And one thing I cannot stand, and this is absolutely me being the drama, but I cannot stand white out groups showing up to the cookout and expecting us to explain what's happening. Like out group, white dude showing up at 4 because the party started at 4, wondering why the chicken's still in the sink. Go sit down somewhere, get yourself, find you a little corner somewhere, because things are going to happen that you don't understand. Or somebody in the out group show up and want you to teach them how to play spades off the cuff. No, nigga. This is not the time. This is not a learning table. This table that I'm sitting at is for seasoned professionals. Come over here and try to renege. As a matter of fact, say the word renege with the wrong intonation and I'm going to have a problem with it. But again, that is me. And I am the drama. I'm here. But I wonder, do white people feel so much access to these homogenous Black spaces because we never just call out, hey, this is not built for you. So you either sit in the back or you leave. But I do think that in a lot of spaces, there's a whole bunch of pandering to the fragility of whiteness. Somebody brings their white ass boyfriend, and all of a sudden we feel like we need to make they plate and hold their hand as they never. No, the bathroom is down the hall. Give you an example. And this was a professional example. This wasn't a kickback. So when I started working in HIV prevention, I worked at this place called Resource Center. And my job, the Resource Center, just like most gay and lesbian resource centers that are not specifically for Black people, it was a very, very white organization at the time. I do not know how their organization functions now, but I will tell you, when I started there, I was one. They had 50 employees. I was one of 3 Black folks that were employed at this place. One of, you know, maybe a dozen Black volunteers that they employed at this place. It was a very, very white space. And my job, alongside the co-coordinator of my program, was to deliver Black programs. I had to go into very, very Black spaces and provide HIV testing and education. So I would regularly be in a pool hall that had no light. I would regularly be at somewhere where, you know, they doing a drug deal across the street. That is what I grew up with. Now, I am very suburban, but, you know, I done seen some drugs go down. I done seen people take it, buy a 8 ball or something. I done seen somebody with some booger sugar. I done seen somebody buy some weed. Like, that's not foreign to me. I'm providing HIV testing at this pool hall, and we got people in the community, people that live in this neighborhood, bringing people to us to get people tested. We tested like 200 people that day. It was great. Midway through the event, I called my boss, who was a very mainstream Latino. And I said, hey, I need some gauze because we ran out. And we got people in and out, so I need you to bring us some gauze. He's like, okay. I send him the address. He Googles it, finds out where it is. He immediately gets nervous. He does not know what to do or how to function. He does not know what's going on. So he brings the gauze and he brings it. He pulls up and calls me and say, "Hey Jay, come get the gauze I just pulled up." Mind you, he's not in the location. He is like way at the end of the street because you got to turn off the main street to get into this building. He won't even pull into the parking lot of this place because he is so out of place among all these black people of varying levels of education, of varying levels of intoxication, of varying levels of all things. This looked like my grandmama's neighborhood, but he all of a sudden is off for Klimt and don't know what to do because he been living in the suburbs around white folks all day, right? And that was probably the first time I realized that now let me tell you this. That was the first time I realized I was his good black folks. Like, I was the good black folks in his life. He did not get access to black culture because he thought that having me in his life as my boss was enough. He thought that that I was enough of a representation of blackness for him to feel like he was an ally to our culture. And so when me and my coworker Deetra were talking about, Deetra was from Baton Rouge. She came up to Dallas. She moved to Dallas after the storm. But when she would talk about how she gonna have a crawfish boil that weekend, and she would invite me and nobody else in our department, I would tell her that, I'm having a kickback at my daddy's house, and I would invite her and nobody else in our apartment. They felt as if we were creating a divide in the department because we were having black things for black people and not including these white and white adjacent folks. It was just so interesting how it turned out. Let's keep going, and then I'll get to the comments.
Yeah, like when you talk about that word belonging and how it was taught to me and I have a relationship with someone whose life's work is all about inclusion. And they talked about belonging, kind of like you said, an extension of the environment or the space. And so when I think about belonging, I think about like being invited to the party, right? You're invited to the party. Then you show up to the party, you're dancing on the dance floor. But belonging is like dancing like no one's watching. And a white gay person showing up to our black queer spaces, they need to be always under the assumption that they're being watched.
Like, where
don't be dancing.
I don't know why they laughing. I totally vibe with that. They need to be. I do not know that it is possible. Okay, so let me ask y'all in the chat, because I know we got a whole bunch of conversations going, but let me ask y'all for real talk. Is it possible to have a black space? A black space. I don't mean mixed. I don't mean black and brown. I don't mean POC. I mean a black space where a white person, a new white face shows up and we maintain the same vibe. Is that even possible? I'm really curious. Is it even possible? Germiology says it's the entitlement for me. J92 says, yeah, I think we need to do a better job at gatekeeping our spaces. Having to code switch and explain everything to them sucks the fun out of it. I agree. But I also think not code switching creates a a unsafe environment for everybody involved. Because I would hate, like, I talk to y'all, I drop niggas in all the time, because to me, everybody in the chat is one of the niggas. But if I knew there was a white person that was just as active in the conversation, and I'm talking like this, and all of a sudden you thinking that this is okay, now I got to cut you. Now I got to ban you. Now I got to do all the things. And I feel like code switching is just avoiding all of that because white folk be so dumb. They couldn't, half the white folk that I deal with couldn't do right if it slapped them in the face. And so I code switch so that I can avoid the work it takes to check you if, for instance, you get too comfortable. I want you to know this is not a space for you to lean back in the easy chair. This is a space for you to be on your P's and Q's, my person. And I really feel like I'm code switching because I want you to know I am not comfortable with you here. You should not be comfortable with you here. And as Surface Level was saying, they got to understand that this ain't the space for you to just be, kicking back. It's a kickback for us, not for you. King Boom Dada says, so how do you feel about the white gays that grew up urban? Like Eminem? That's a very good question. Let me double tap on it real quick. Excuse me. So I grew up, the school that I went to that I identify most with is Flint Central High School in Flint, Michigan. The demographic of the school was 95% black because Flint is a very black city. But there was this dude named Jordan, and he and I had gone to elementary school together. I did not go to middle school with him because I went to a private middle school. But then there we are again, freshman year of high school at Flint Central. He was the white guy that, like, when I think of white people, he is what I thought of. He is like, the schema that exists in my head. And he grew up in Flint just like I did. He wouldn't get an invite to the cookout. He grew up urban. He understands the concepts that are at play here. But the reason why I would feel comfortable inviting him to a cookout at my house, mind you, at my house, I would not invite him to a cookout at somebody else's house. But he would get invited to the cookout at my house because he would know he has went through the test of time of understanding that, hey, nigga, this ain't the space for you to be lounging out. Keep your shoes on. You sit in your designated seat and you sit in the back and you watch. He would understand the dynamic. So yes, I would invite him. Would I invite Clint or Dylan to the cookout just because, I met them the other day and they were at Walmart? Hell no. If we want to kick it, we go to a mutual location. But again, that's just me. Germiology says, I want to do that again. Jay, point me in the direction of some HIV testing, counseling, and prevention work here in Atlanta. I got you. Hit me up on Instagram. Rolando said, yeah. No, J926 says, yep, it's entitlement in them. Rolando said, Rolando responded, the unearned entitlement, and they really feel like they deserve it. I agree. I think that is a function of whiteness. Whiteness believes that they are entitled to everything. And I think that expresses itself, before we move on, that expresses itself most in Atlanta traffic. I truly believe every piece of traffic in Atlanta is created by a white person. I don't know about y'all, but hear me out. I'm going somewhere with it. I don't know about y'all, but when I went to a grocery store when I was little, my mama said, stay to the right. My mama said, if you hit the back of my heel, I'm knocking the hell out of you. My mama told me, don't touch nothing. Don't ask for nothing because you're not getting nothing. And so what that instilled in me is there is a sense of decorum. There is a way you act in these places. When you go into a store, now granted enough, this is veiled systemic racism, but when you go into a store, you get a bag and a receipt. You act a certain way. You carry yourself a certain way when you go into these places. Those are the lessons that I learned. But white people move through life as if life is just supposed to bend to their whims. And so white people will drive as if nobody's driving behind them. They will walk and stand as if nobody's standing behind them. They will navigate space as if nobody else exists and expect life and everybody else to just bend to their whims. And that's the bullshit. That is whiteness being expressed. That is white privilege in the smallest, most insignificant way. And every time, never fails. If everybody's driving 70 and there's that one car on the road that's driving 55 in the left-hand lane, I guarantee it's a white woman. Guarantee it. It's a white woman, and on top of that, she ain't even old. Because I'll give you a pass if you're a white woman of a certain age, but it's a white woman and she's just driving her Volvo, bebopping to her own thing because they don't exist in a world where they have to be sensitive to the needs of others. And that to me is whiteness being expressed in real time. That is my experience. But again, I could be the drama. I think Rolando says, I think most, if not all, black kids had the same rule. How we all had the same rules and there was never a Google insight. But again, the through line. Now, granted enough, I got my own money now. So when I go into McDonald's, I got McDonald's money. I can touch stuff because I can buy it my damn self. But what it taught me, what I learned from an early age, from don't touch nothing, don't ask for nothing, you not get nothing. It really did teach me there's a certain way you act when you get in public. There's a certain way you handle yourself when you do things. And when we go into this store, there's an expectation of how you are to behave. White people don't get them lessons. In my experience, that's why they all end up acting a fool. White people don't get the lessons of stay to the right. And white people for damn sure didn't get the lesson of if you're being passed on the right when you driving, then get your ass over, slow. But again, that's just me. Let's keep going. We'll go through one more. We ain't gonna finish this one. We might have to pick it up next week.
Sitting around here like no one's watching.
Bumping into people.
Guess
Because
what?
now I think it's on purpose.
Guess what? I'm watching. I'm on your ass. So what do you think, Tamar? Can they belong truly?
I would disagree. Like, I think yes. And this is what I would say. I think as black people, like there's this Audre Lorde quote that's just like, you can't undo the master's house using the master's tools. And I think
Sorry.
Audre Lorde.
Oh, okay.
And I also think about, there's a line on Duran's new album, his first song. And he goes, if you only knew the violence I underwent to be this kind and to be this gentle. And I think about us having a black experience in the history of this country. Like, I don't ever want to be a person that is like creating an environment where like I'm creating something that's unwelcoming, or I'm creating something where like I feel like I'm doing the same evil thing that's been done to me. Like we're looking at that person because we're doing it as a reflex to how we feel white people in generally have taught us. Have treated us.
Mm-hmm.
Nope. Lost me on that one. I do not think, and again, maybe it's just because they are smarter than me or more cultured or they're just better people than I am, but I'm all for gatekeeping blackness and black spaces. I do not think that everything that black people do needs to be welcoming and inviting to everybody, because there are many spaces that everybody else has that are not welcoming to me. And so the reflex, the self-preservation, the piece of blackness that I keep and hold dear and keep pristine means that there are going to be spaces that are just mine and only for people that look and walk and talk like me. I host Dear Black Gay Men podcast. It is not Dear Black Everybody podcast. It is not Dear Everybody podcast. It is, there are sensibilities and things that are specific to us that are at play here. And I don't ever want to feel as if I have to create a space for everybody to be welcome. Yes, you can watch. I want your views. I want your AdSense dollars. But also, I want to acknowledge that the content here is for us, by us. I am fully expecting that everybody who is active in this chat is either Black or understands that this is for Black people. I get that there have been injustices on us in so many ways. I get that being Black is a tough road to hoe. I get that Black people have had to endure injustices and discrimination and all the things. And I also get that the only way to overcome that is through reconciliation. But I don't got to reconcile in my house. I don't got to reconcile in my car. I don't got to reconcile in this studio. I can reconcile with you on the street. I can reconcile with you at City Hall in public spaces. I can reconcile with you wherever you are. If you want to reconcile, invite me over to your house. But as for me and my house, we Black. And I can't think of any time where I would just willingly invite white people into my house unless I'm trying to get something out of them. My father was very politically active when I was growing up, and we would have white people over to the house all the time. But even in those instances, I am crystal clear on why they are here. We here because I want your vote. I need you canvassing. I need your volunteer hours. I need whatever. But as soon as the deed is done, go back to your house, my person. And I think that is the distinction that I am making between what Damon is saying and what I am saying, is that Damon is saying he doesn't want to create a space that is not welcoming. And in my head, I want to create a space that is welcoming to a specific kind of person, a person that looks and walks and talks and has the sensibilities of me. And I will create those spaces for us where I can. And we will reconcile where we need to. Now, I'm not applying that to Walmart. I'm not applying that to Piedmont Park. I'm applying that to my house, my studio, my home, where the places where I decompress, where I can woosah, where I exhale. And that cannot happen with whiteness present. And to the question earlier about what if somebody was urban, I think urban folk can take off their whiteness to just be a regular white dude. I tell people all the time, I have no problem with white people. I have a problem with whiteness and with white privilege. Just like I'm sure there's a lot of Black people that have a problem with Blackness and pro-Blackness. Sure. Yo bad. But I can't I will never feel safe in space with whiteness. That is what I'm saying about me. This comment says Jay is right. Now, granted enough, I appreciate y'all for agreeing. But Marquis 89 says Jay is right. Home and your car are your safe space. There are many safe spaces that I have, and whiteness is not welcome in any of them. J926 says, yeah, I disagree. It's low-key giving reverse racism, which does not exist. Period. Germiology said period poo. Winter Rolando says, wait a minute, shout out to moms, agree with her 1,000% on that. Yep, somehow or another all our moms were speaking the same language back in the day. How they did it without Google, I don't know, but shout out to them. Let's get I think that's a good place to take a break. We'll be right back. What up, y'all? I need your help. There's this new feature on YouTube that can help us grow as a channel. It's called Hype. It's free. I've seen it work on small channels just like ours, but it only works if we all do it. Antonio Speaks is a channel that I follow. He started at 20K subscribers when I hit the subscribe button, and I've seen him get 1,000 new subs in a day. Hundreds of thousands of new viewers. In YouTube, right next to the like and share, there's this new button called Hype. The more a video gets hyped, the higher it will rank on YouTube. The higher we rank, the more people get to see our content, the faster Dear Black Gay Men continues to grow. Like this video right now. When you see Dear Black Gay Men content on YouTube, even if you've watched it already or attended the live, like the video, drop a comment, and click the hype button. I appreciate y'all more than I can express. Let's get to 20K. Welcome back to Dear Black Gay Men Podcast. I am Jay the Gentleman. Before we head out, let's comment on comments. Hit it. The comments keep the conversation going through the roof right here on Dear Black Gay Men Podcast. If you want to add your piece to the conversation, just go to livestream.dearblackgaymen.com to join us live on the show. I do want to talk about, I had one comment I wanted to mention. Panthro, when we were talking about the app, said, or they be promoting their OnlyFans, Twitter, IG link is bad. Now, the reason why I want to talk about this, if I see a gay man that is shirtless, that has a link tree or a link in bio, I'm just gonna assume you do porn. Like, you can be on Instagram and you're a fitness influencer and you got a link in bio. I'm just gonna assume there's a porn in there. There's OnlyFans, and then all you gotta do is go on OnlyFans and search for your OnlyFans name, and there you are. Bloop. Richimao. I don't know if that's a word. I really am trying to pronounce it, but I said dating apps, yay or nay. This person said nay. Got it. I agree. Then Morris Singletary said dating apps are good for getting weed and a barber when you're out of town, and sex. If you need to get you some cut up and you in a pinch, dating apps. Truly believe it. Winter Minute says, I'm Detroit born and raised, so my community is black as fuck, and I love it real bad. White gays don't have culture or cultural awareness. I think the lack of cultural awareness, that is whiteness. And again, I have no problem with white people. I cannot stand whiteness or white privilege. And for a lot of white people, in my experience, they don't know how to separate those two things. They don't know how to separate their experience as a white person from whiteness. And whiteness is what sucks the air out of a room when you're dealing with people of color and a whole bunch of other stuff. Whiteness, Karenness, white privilege, lack of awareness about anybody else but yourself, those things are what suck the air out of a room when you're dealing with people of color, especially black folks, in my experience. So there's that. But teammates, we had a great show. I think that's the perfect place to call it. We are overtime anyway. So that was our show. I am Jay the Gentleman. We'll be right back here with another episode of Dear Black Gay Men tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern. On Thursday, we'll be live on YouTube. For more exclusive content, join us on Substack at dearblackgaymen.substack.com. I appreciate you all more than I can ever express. I will talk to you next time. Bye.